Everything will be good. Everything will be good.
Realtor.com is the #1 app real estate professionals trust.
I don't know what the fuck's going on in there. Alright. Oh, but race time.
Leave it all, bud. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Right.
Leave it all, bud. Oh.
Something wrong.
Yo, what am I gonna do? Huh?
Yo, what up? Oh,
What am I gonna
hello, anybody
do?
there?
What am I gonna do? Calm down. What am I gonna do?
Where?
See with a dog.
I think it was down in the room.
Dog. See with a dog.
But be passed out. I'm really, I don't know. That's fucking guy.
Hi, I'm a new vampire. Hi, I'm a new werewolf.
I don't think we're gonna have a race. Let's go.
Sweet. Oh, okay. Bye-bye. Whoa, okay.
Remember.
Go.
Bye. Go, 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 go very fast. The Portuguese win.
One of those filed off. And when you look at what he did last year, his splits.
All of play what you need. But new.
Oh, baseball.
Baseball. Oh. Bye-bye.
To me, I found it tiresome. I always have. This one was perhaps even worse.
You know, Shannon, I have always loved watching the State of the Unions. And, you know, I always love it because then I feel American and we're unified. And I don't care if it's Democrat or Republican. I want to cheer them on because it makes me feel good about being an American. You've seen a lot of these State of the Unions. What was your take on it last night?
Well, it was strange to me that he started with Ukraine and his standoff he's got with folks on the Hill, because normally you do think, we're here, we're Americans, we can do better, we can work together. You feel like that's going to be some of the opening message. But the fact that he went right at one of these big issues and right into foreign policy and right into combative with the people who are sitting in front of him and he's calling them out, it seemed like an odd place to start. Because the White House had been messaging to us Tuesday before the speech that there was going to be a unity agenda, that this was going to be about where people can come together. It didn't feel that way. And our latest polling, when people were asked, how's he done in unifying the country, 26% said that he's mostly succeeded, 69% say he's mostly failed. So that's across party lines. People do not think he's bringing people together. So the streaming last night, the speech that, of course, in an election year is going to feel more political, didn't feel unifying.
You know, Jesse, instead of talking about the state of our union, it was like a battleground campaign speech for 2024.
It was. So his opening was framing himself as FDR and Lincoln. So Joe Biden is going to fight to save democracy at home and abroad against Hitler, Putin, the Southern insurrectionists, and Donald Trump. So this election, he's saying, is basically the equivalent of the Civil War and World War II combined. And he's the only one that's going to be able to protect the nation. And he puts it in these militaristic terms, like this is a military campaign, not just your regular political campaign. And then goes on to say, we swore an oath to protect the country against enemies foreign and domestic, linking Trump Republicans to enemies of the state. I think most people looking around and watching this thing, like, this isn't really what this election's about. And so that kind of was there, as well as the screaming to prove that he was alive, to show he had a little something left in the tank. And I don't really believe he got there on his own, if you know what I mean. But then the rest of it was just red meat for the base. Abortion, big government tax and spend liberalism, and class warfare. So you get through that, and then you expect him to at least acknowledge the hardships that Americans are facing. He didn't even do that. It's all just spin. And he had a few good lines, a few volleys, which is good, but he didn't generate any sort of unity movement. He didn't invite a guest. They were adequate, but no one's buzzing about the guests abroad. So you look at some of these other speeches delivered by these presidents, and you get the chills. It is soaring oratory, talking about the future of the country, talking about the American people in ways that are moving, Republican or Democrat. This guy just yelled at me for an hour and 15, and the worst part, Judge, he was late. That was the biggest insult, because people are tired at 9 o'clock, and he didn't show up and speak until about 9:25. And he's not the bride. You know, it's like, when he shows up, that's not like when the wedding starts. Like, everybody's waiting for you to get there. I thought that was the most disrespectful part of the whole night.
Well, you know, Jessica, the amazing thing is they put up all this fencing, right, around Congress. But Joe Biden is delayed because they've got all these Hamas protesters. It's like they don't even know where the problems are going to be. But it's true. I mean, you have to admit, he was amped up, jacked up. They expected the speech to be an hour and a half. It was like 58 minutes because he spoke so fast, but so high. What was your take?
It was an hour and 8 minutes, I think was the final count. And I think the most important thing that happened last night, first you saying is amped up, we're now talking about Joe Biden as too fiery, right? As too aggressive. And yesterday we were talking about Joe Biden can't find his pants. Joe Biden has dementia. Joe Biden is too old for this job. And that's how I know that it went really well, because the Republicans who have been on TV, the congressmen, senators, etc., people who would use the age attack are now basically saying he's an aggressive party. Oh, we're like the same.
Yes.
And you also know that it went well because last night Joe Biden's campaign smashed 3 fundraising records at 9 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, and at 11 o'clock. And CNN did a poll of State of the Union watchers. 64% had a positive view of it. 62% said that Biden's policies will move the U.S. in a positive direction, and that's something that he was really struggling with. Trump was way ahead on that. That was up 17 points from before the speech began. Starting with Ukraine also surprised me, and it felt as if he probably wanted to start with talking about attacks on democracy at home, and they thought, let's contextualize this more broadly, right, to talk about democracies that are under attack, and also to put Republicans on the back foot. You saw Mike Johnson, who was really struggling with his facial expressions and what do I do with my hands. He wants the money for Ukraine. The rest of his caucus is not letting him do that. So I think that's where that came from. But they clearly are paying attention to their internal polling and the conversations that Americans are having about how important the everyday bread and butter issues are. Biggest applause lines: protecting Social Security, lowering prescription drug prices. Let's give teachers a raise. Let's make sure that
We'll go through that.
Yeah, we will. Let's make sure that kids know how to read by 3rd grade. Seems really good.
For that.
But it's still, well, first of all, it's not Joe Biden that's at fault for that. Kids are falling behind. Listen, I've been plenty critical of Randy Weingarten, but it's still something that Americans want, that they want our public schools to serve kids in a good way, lifting kids out of poverty. The Republicans got rid of the child tax credit. That was something that eliminated poverty by huge amounts. Those are unifying issues for the American public, and that's why it is getting so much praise.
Well, oh no.
Hi. Can I bring my friend to work out?
No.
This is better.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you can bring a friend for free anytime and enjoy access to the Black Card Spa. Join now for $1 down, $24.99 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends March 15th.
The new LG Wash Combo. The new all-in-one machine that lets you wash and dry a load of laundry with just the press of a button. All in less than 2 hours.
That right there is the undefeated Charger, or as some people know, the blacked out Charger. For months now, we've been watching footage of this guy that has a blacked out Charger that ends up baiting law enforcement into chases, blacks out, and disappears within a minute. We never see or hear from that Charger again. I continue to get tagged and in the comment section of a lot of these undefeated Charger videos. There's a new video that has been up that is entitled that the undefeated Charger has in fact been defeated. This has happened in the past, and when I go and look at these kinds of videos, the first thing I notice is that the body style is just not the same. On top of that, the driving skills are not there, and so this is a case of another, video that has surfaced where it's been titled where the undefeated Charger is defeated. And guys, I just want to show you the footage of what everybody's tagging me in. You guys let me know what you think.
Right, everyone, you join me here for a 34-person competitive race.
If you're thinking about buying solar panels, don't. The US government will literally buy them for you if you take 60 seconds to answer a few questions below. Hi there. If you are a homeowner in America and you wouldn't mind saving a couple $1,000s on your electricity bill this year, then you're really going to love what the US government has just announced. You see, a few days ago, the US government released a new stimulus.
Good evening and welcome to the Tucker Carlson Network live. That was quite an experience watching that. You know, you think of Joe Biden as a doddering old man, a guy who can't remember when his son died or when he served as vice president. Of course, that's exactly who he is, and it's on display every day. But Joe Biden is also a cruel and vicious demagogue, a man who has no problem at all denouncing his fellow Americans or putting his political opponents in prison as he has done. And that was all on display tonight. That was possibly the darkest, most un-American speech ever given by an American president. In fact, it wasn't a speech, it was a rant, entirely lacking in decency or generosity to his fellow Americans. In Joe Biden's very first sentence, he compared Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler. He did not describe Trump as the other party's candidate, which he is, a political opponent in a country that's had peaceful elections for 250 years. No. According to Joe Biden, Donald Trump is Adolf Hitler. He is an existential threat to freedom and democracy. If he wins, you will die, and so will your country. That was the first sentence, but that was really the last time he mentioned the United States at all, for paragraphs and paragraphs. Biden quickly explained that actually his top priority has nothing to do with America. His top priority is sending billions more to Ukraine. A foreign war in Eastern Europe, a war across the world that has nothing to do with the United States, that the United States is not obligated by any treaty to join. Of course, Ukraine is not a member of NATO. A war that can only hurt this country and already has hurt it in grave and permanent ways. The invasion of Ukraine is the most important thing to Joe Biden. Not ending the invasion of our own country by drug cartels, which control huge swaths of the southern United States at this point. Not our degrading economy you experience every day. Not our collapsing schools where kids can't read at all. Not the 100,000 fentanyl deaths every year. Not the declining life expectancy that is obvious if you look around. Collapsing public health. An epidemic of suicide and murder. Things that hurt Americans. Ghost armies of drug addicts living on the streets. Right outside the chamber where the speech was given tonight. None of that matters. Biden's top priority is aid for Ukraine. It was deranged. You watch this, you think, this is insane. Does anyone in the room think it's insane? They must. Here's how the Republican Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson of Louisiana, newly elected, the man who leads Republicans, in fact, the top elected Republican in the United States of America, here's how he responded as Joe Biden told the country that the invasion of Ukraine is his top priority. Watch this.
Overseas, Putin of Russia is on the march, invading Ukraine and sowing chaos throughout Europe and beyond. If anybody in this room thinks Putin will stop at Ukraine, I assure you he will not. Ukraine can stop Putin. Ukraine can stop Putin if we stand with Ukraine and provide the weapons that needs to defend itself. My message to President Putin, who I've known for a long time, is simple. We will not walk away. We will not bow down. I will not bow down.
This is crazy talk. There's no explanation of what the goal is here. There's lie after lie. Ukraine can stop Russia. No, it can't. This has gone on for over 2 years. NATO is stronger than ever. No, it's not. NATO is on its way to collapse, as is the economy of Western Europe. For not one sentence did Joe Biden explain what the goal of this exercise is, when we'll know we've won, and what the future should look like. Again, it was crazy talk. And yet, Mike Johnson, the Republican Speaker of the House, nodded gravely. Oh, of course, he is completely on board with Joe Biden on this Biden's signature issue. And that's not a guess. As of this afternoon, Mike Johnson is secretly supporting Biden's agenda, sending another $60 billion to the oligarchs in Ukraine. Johnson plans to let Democrats onto the floor of the House to vote for this. This is a stealthy procedural move designed to shield him and other Republicans from criticism. Oh, the Democrats did it. But that's exactly what it is. He's the Speaker of the House. He can stop it, but he won't, because he's on board. So why is he on board? Is Mike Johnson representing his own voters as he backs Joe Biden's signature agenda item, a war against Russia? No, he's not. Republican voters in Louisiana are not for this. Republican voters nationally are not for this. They hate this. It has nothing to do with them. And it's insulting. As their country is invaded, we send billions to prevent the invasion of another country that we have nothing to do with? But the Uniparty demands this, so Mike Johnson is doing it. And so at some point you ask, well, why are they demanding this, actually? Why is war with Russia the most important thing? If you look at the numbers or a map, it wouldn't be obvious that Russia would be America's main enemy. There are other candidates. Could it be because Russia is the largest white Christian country in the world? Well, maybe. Could it be because they're getting rich from war? Well, that's certainly true. And there may be other reasons as well. We could guess.
Warm as a bear and dry as a bone. It's the only...
Good evening and welcome to the Tucker Carlson Network live. That was quite an experience watching that. You know, you think of Joe Biden as a doddering old man, a guy announced tonight. Biden also told the country that we're going to have boots on the ground in Gaza. Really? Or admitted it. In fact, American forces have actually been there for months. Did you know that? Did anyone ask you? Has anyone explained to you, no matter where your sympathies lie, what the point of this is, when we'll know we've won? What's the objective here? American lives will be at risk, but of course no one's told you. And of course, you already know the point. The point is to suck the United States into another foreign war that can't possibly help the United States, a war that can only hurt us and already is hurting us. And we're doing this not because it helps us, but because foreign interests are demanding that we do it. America is being used, as we so often have been. And the result of all of this is that the world is now closer to nuclear war at this moment than at any time in history, closer than it was during the Cuban Missile Crisis. We have no idea where this is going. You never do once people start to die, once wars begin. No PowerPoint can tell you, no speech to a joint session can tell you where this is going. It's dynamic, it's completely unpredictable. And that's why wise people pause before accelerating. But there are no wise people in charge in either party, on either side. Do you think Tony Blinken, the Secretary of State, has any clue what will happen in a war with Russia? Of course not. You can't say where this is going. This is so reckless that it qualifies as suicidal. And maybe they are, but the rest of us aren't. But the most interesting fact of the speech was the emphasis. There was not a meaningful word for the entire duration about the things that actually matter to people who live here, like crime or inflation or fentanyl or the foreign army now occupying our country. Joe Biden doesn't care. There was no upside for you in any of the things that he said. But he does have a present for you. He's got something to give you, something you want very badly. Here it is.
Look, it's a decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. The Supreme Court majority wrote the following. And with all due respect, justices, women are not without electoral power. Electoral or political power. You're about to realize just how much you've tried. Overturning Roe v. Wade have no clue about the power of women. But they found out when reproductive freedom was on the ballot. We won in 2022 and 2020, and we'll win again in 2024.
Oh, well, you can't have a safe, clean country or groceries you can afford or schools that will educate your children. But you can't have abortion. You can have a lot more abortion. How's about some more abortion for you? That'll make you happy and free. You can have all the abortions you want. But of course, you already could have all the abortions you want. Abortion is one thing, maybe the one thing that's pretty easy to get in this country. Compare getting an abortion to getting an affordable new roof or a knee replacement. No, abortion is everywhere. It's very easy to get. And it's easy to get because the government wants it to be, of course, unlike an affordable new roof. But what's interesting is why, of all the services government could guarantee, why abortion? At a time when fertility rates of actual Americans are below replacement, Biden and his party are encouraging Americans to have fewer children. Now, if you have a handheld calculator, do the math on that. That's the path to extinction. Why would they want that? You're the leader of a country. Why would you want your people to have fewer children? You should ponder that. But let's say you're too old to have an abortion. Let's say it doesn't actually apply to you, this wonderful freedom that will make you happy. What can you do to guarantee that you will have no descendants? Well, you can always castrate your children and end your lineage. No more grandchildren. And Joe Biden wants to help.
I want to protect fundamental rights. Pass the Equality Act. My mission to expand freedom of America. I have your back.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. Trans children, I have your back. That's not creepy. But that's what he's offering. Abortion, war, castration of children. Not better roads and schools, cheaper electricity and food. No, abortion and war. Who wants all that? I mean, some tiny percentage of CNN contributors think those are the most important things. But most people would rather have cheaper electricity, cheaper food, better roads. And so what this means is that underneath all of the talk is a dire political reality. Joe Biden can't win. In a fair election, Joe Biden will lose in November. He cannot win. That's the thing that nobody in any media wants to say out loud. In a fair election, Joe Biden cannot win. So they're saying the opposite. Here, for example, is the pre-game analysis over at MSNBC, which we watch while waiting for Biden to dodder up to the stage, waiting for the amphetamines to take effect. And keep in mind, as you watch this analysis, these are supposedly the smart kids. These are the smart kids, the ones with complicated glasses. These are the ones the White House looks to for guidance. And here's their analysis of Joe Biden's skills. Watch this.
This seems like a weirdly, a counterintuitive hot take, even though it's the most obvious thing you could say, which is that Joe Biden is good at politics.
Yes, yes.
Like, Joe Biden is good at politics. He's very good at politics. Like, the man really does know what he's doing. And you really see it in those sort of situations.
Joe Biden is just really good at politics. It's the one thing he's really good at. Really? If Joe Biden is so good at politics, why is he losing to Donald Trump, who the rest of us were assured was a retarded racist, who no normal person would vote for? But now Joe Biden is getting stomped by Donald Trump, but he's also at the same time good at politics? Right. Chris Hayes, ladies and gentlemen, the most famous lesbian of television. So, again, they can't win, but they're not giving up. So what does that tell you? Well, they're going to steal the election. And we know they're going to steal the election because they're now saying so out loud. Here is the Attorney General of the United States, the chief law enforcement officer of this country in Selma, Alabama, just the other day. Listen to this.
The right to vote is still under attack. And that is why the Justice Department is fighting back. That is why one of the first things I did when I came into office was to double the size of the voting section of the Civil Rights Division. That is why we are challenging efforts by states and jurisdictions to implement discriminatory, burdensome, and unnecessary restrictions on access to the ballot, including those related to mail-in voting, the use of drop boxes, and voter ID requirements. That is why we are working to block the adoption of discriminatory redistricting plans that dilute the vote of Black voters and other voters of color.
Did you catch that? Of course, you're a racist. That's always the takeaway. But consider the details of what the Attorney General of the United States just said. Mail-in balloting, drop boxes, voter ID requirements. The chief law enforcement officer of the United States government is telling you that it's immoral, in fact racist, in fact illegal, to ask people for their IDs when they vote to verify they are who they say they are. What is that? Well, no one ever talks about this, but the justification for it is that somehow people of color, Black people, don't have state-issued IDs. Somehow they're living in a country where you can do virtually nothing without proving your identity with a government-issued ID without government-issued IDs. So they can't fly on planes, they can't have checking accounts, they can't have any interaction with the government, state, local, or federal. They can't stay in hotels. They can't have credit cards. Because someone without a state-issued ID can't do any of those things. But what's so interesting is these same people, very much including the Attorney General and the administration he serves, is working to eliminate cash, to make this a cashless society. Have you been to a stadium event recently? No cash accepted. You have to have a credit card. In order to get a credit card, you need a state-issued ID. And somehow, that's not racist. But it is racist to ask people to prove their identity when they choose the next president of the United States. So that doesn't make any sense at all. That's a lie. It's an easily provable lie. And anyone telling that lie is advocating for mass voter fraud, which the Attorney General is. There's no other way to read it. So you should know that. You live in a country where the Attorney General is abetting, in fact, calling for voter fraud. And that's the only chance they have to get their guy reelected.
Is avocado a metabolism booster or a killer? I just heard the truth from this guy and my mind was blown.
This is a metabolism killer. This is a metabolism killer. And even this is a metabolism killer. The sad reality is most people eat these foods every single day and wonder why they can't lose weight.
The best way to burn fat and get shredded is not keto, paleo, it's not carnivore, it's not vegan, and it's definitely not super intense exercises like this. That ain't how you lose weight. Cardio burns fat, right? No. Cardio actually burns calories, usually in the form of carbs in the bloodstream that are then replaced with the very next meal that you do eat and stored as more fat. This is why even when you eat low-calorie foods or you run for an hour a day, you get softer, but you don't actually lose any weight. And this is one of the biggest reasons why most weight loss attempts fail within the first 3 weeks. The truth is that Hollywood's elite actors and actresses, they can get super ripped because they followed a long ignored technique that was used for generations of bodybuilders and athletes before steroids were even popular. So what's their approach? Well, they ruthlessly cut through the fluff because they have zero time to waste because their next film role is starting in just a few weeks, and so they can't waste time on the wrong program.
I cut out carbs, sugar. It was just not sustainable. Boom, I gained it back so fast. This time I feel like I've done it the healthy way. I've lost 30 pounds. Just do it. Just do it. You won't regret it. You're gonna see it too. You're gonna be like, dang, I look good.
For a while, I just completely cut out carbs, and I realized that was a mistake. After I gave the carbs back, I dropped another 30 pounds.
You will never have to be on the treadmill again. I want to say slowly.
Why running on the treadmill 7 days a week doesn't work when you're trying to lose weight, because aside from the cortisol buildup and the inflammation, it's also just not sustainable. And one of the biggest fitness myths is when people say carbs make you fat. Carbs don't make you fat. I'm a big donut guy. All these foods that you don't think that you're ever allowed to eat when following a diet, I'm eating them and I'm in the best shape of my life. Carbs actually regulate your metabolism. Carbs are one of the best ways to give your body and your muscles energy. If you cycle your carbs properly, you eat more carbs than you probably ever have eaten on a diet, and you get far better results than you've probably ever gotten on a diet.
I don't even weigh 210 pounds. You've lost me. That's insane.
I now went from a 6XL. I can now say that I'm in a large. I had lost right at 30 pounds. My jeans were falling off of me.
So you've lost
53 pounds. I went from 189 pounds to 136 pounds.
Dang.
What is the best diet or workout for losing weight? The science of weight loss was cracked a long time ago. It's not a trend. It's just facts. Following all those trending fad diets, trending workouts you see online are literally a waste of time. There's already a proven, research-backed way to lose weight and keep it off. We already did all the hard work for you to simplify all that information into a very simple and easy-to-follow plan that literally anybody can do. So this is our body type quiz. It's a free quiz. It's 6 different questions, super easy. It takes like literally 20 seconds. You can do it right now. And then at the end of it, it tells you what your body type is, but it also tells you the 3 most important things to do based on what your body type is, and it's completely free. So if you want to check this out, scan the code right here on your screen right now. We don't need your email or anything like that. Take your phone out, scan the code, and it'll send you straight to our free body type quiz.